Tell me about bringing businesses into the area. I know that both of you have been involved in business a little bit, but Fred, I'll start with you here. You've been a businessman in Beacon for, what, 30 years, 40 years?
I've been on Main Street for 34 years.
Okay, so tell me about what the skills you have that can bring small businesses in.
I've been on Main Street for 34 years. I've been here in the good times and the bad times, okay? I have 14 employees working for me. I run a business. I know what's going on in the city of Beacon. I'm at the heartbeat of this. I'm on Main Street every day. At one time where our office is now was the primary to go. Thanks to Ron Sauer and a few other people, both ends of Beacon got built out, and now the middle part of Beacon has to be addressed. So I'm looking forward to bringing Beacon back together again as one solid city from one end to the other.
How about your business skills?
Well, perhaps Fred hasn't read all of the comprehensive plan, but there are a lot of ideas in there that refer to how to add business to the Beacon.
When did those things come into play? Just the recent comprehensive plan?
Yes, and so when it's adopted, hopefully then, after it's adopted, then we'll start implementing many of those, and there'll be city council decisions. But for one thing, they want to have a person, a coordinator, to bring in businesses in Main Street, so that the businesses that come in here will be the ones that people need. So there'll be surveys done about what people want, and then this person, this coordinator, will try to bring them in. We're going to try to build up the middle of Main Street, the part where it's what we call the transition zone from the old Matawan and the old Fishkill Landing, where it really wasn't built up, and the buildings there need to be redone, they need to be increased. When we bring those up to 4 stories, which is what's recommended in the comprehensive plan in that area, we'll have more people on business, and there'll be more opportunity for businesses.
So, and again, I'm not picking on either of you, I'm just trying to get a feel here. So now we got a city administrator, a grant writer, a mayor, and then a coordinator to bring business in.
Right.
Doesn't Beacon is big, but it's not that big. Isn't the mayor the one to go out there? I mean, tell me, guys, am I missing this or something, or what?
You know, it all looks good on paper, but you got to pay for it.
Well, not necessarily. There are a lot of volunteers. And having a coordinator in the comprehensive plan doesn't outline that it's a paid position. Look, you need a mayor and you need an administrator. So anything else from that would be hopefully volunteers. There are an awful lot that are in Beacon.
Okay.
There's a couple of other things about Main Street development that we could do. The comprehensive plan calls for changing the parking situation. It's ridiculous. If you want to have a restaurant in Beacon or open a shop in Beacon, you have to provide for parking. Well, how can a businessman provide for parking when all you have is what's the streets, the spaces in front of your place, and maybe there's something behind your place, but it's not necessarily acceptable.
So it works better at night, but in
and
the
they
middle
charge,
of the day, boom, right?
the city of Beacon charges businesses when they want to move in there.
Well, you guys were on the
parking.
council, I mean, didn't you say anything about that?
Well,
I mean, you're saying things to me that the city of Beacon, but you guys have been part of the city of Beacon.
Well, the land's got to be available, number one. We've had, over the past, we've had $1 million to spend for parking and issues of that nature. I don't know if that money's been spent yet.
So where is it, in a fund?
As far as I know, it was...
I
never happened to that fund.
We are building more parking spaces on Main Street, and we'll be using money to do that.
So you're looking for space to put parking?
I think an accounting fund, but the fund is not actually in a deposit by itself.
Okay. So the goal is what? How do you want, just quickly so I can get this, how do you propose to get more parking, you know, for Beacon residents up, even behind, around a new parking lot? Which one?
There are properties for sale. We have to pay to buy them. The reason we haven't bought them in the past is because the cost of real estate, now that the real estate market's turned around, this is the time to strike. This is the time to go out and get and buy the properties that we've identified in the past.
Prices are lower now.
Prices are lower.
Okay. Taxes. What are we going to do with taxes? It's a big issue. I know there's a lot of property owners in Beacon, maybe not as many in cities as there are in your towns, but there's still a lot. And the school property tax issue, I know it doesn't fall on you, but people put it all together.
Right.
What do you want to do to help taxes stay low and still give the services?
Right. It's all about controlling spending. And one thing I can say is that for the 10 years that I was on the council, on average, the city didn't raise its taxes by more than 4%. And it was not easy to get to that point because we received budgets of 9 and 10%, and we whittled them down to the lowest that we could do. Control spending. If we adopt a comprehensive plan, what that could do is, as businesses on Main Street increase their value, then the real estate property values increase. And what you have is that the non-homestead values, businesses can bring in more money, and the homesteads can go down.
What do you think about taxes, Fred and Beacon, how you plan to keep them down and keep the services up?
One of the main issues, and I started out with this, is that the Empire Zone, bringing small industry to Beacon brings more people. Bringing more people brings to more bodies that can pay taxes. I also have been on council for 8 years. We've always tried to keep our taxes in check. It's a tough job. There are people living in Beacon all their lives going to lose their homes because they can't afford it. People move out. So we have to continue to do what we're doing. I think our budget now this year is calling for a 4.9% increase without being worked on. So I trust that the council will bring it down to where it's been over the last several years.
You've been jumping on these enterprise zones, which is, to me, is good because you get tax breaks, federal tax breaks, state tax breaks for the enterprise
Sales
zone
tax.
to bring businesses in. Why has it not been utilized before?
I cannot tell you that.
Well, I can give you an idea of one of the plans that's in the comprehensive plan, and that is
But why
to
not use
pre-approve.
before? I don't understand.
Well, because
those enterprise zones were given 20 years ago.
We look for some help from the Southern Dutchess Chamber of Commerce, and they help out. In the areas of that, I imagine what happens is that certain businesses contact the mayor, and if the calls don't come in, it doesn't happen. But when you have a coordinator that's going to go out and to try to get businesses, and when you have certain places that are in the Empire Zone pre-approved, Terrence, so that it's already been through the planning process for certain types of development, what it says to a developer is, or somebody that wants to put in some industry, it says, look, it's already done. I've already got permission to do this. I just have to do the final details of it.
20 seconds before the closing statement starts.
The Empire Zone was just expanded not too long ago. At one time it was very, very concentrated. So it hasn't been exploited only because it's fairly new that we've got the Empire Zone expanded to where it is today.
But you're willing to aggressively use it?
I'm willing to go out there and look for industry, light industry, to come back to our Beacon.
We're going to have some closing statements now. We flipped the coin. Mr. Anelek is going to go first. He's going to look right at you and make his case why he'd like you to vote for him for mayor of Beacon this coming November. Mr. Anelek?
November the 6th is a very important day in the city of Beacon. I urge, as well as the mayor, I urge everyone to come out and vote. It's very important because the mayor, after 18 years, is stepping down. The city of Beacon is 14,092 people strong as of July of 2006. I know that there's more than that in Beacon. There's more people than that in Beacon. We have a household residencies of 5,082 people, household residencies in the city of Beacon. We have a $22 million budget. We've got 57 miles of road. We've got 5 square miles. And we have 127 to 130 employees. If this is a business, you've got to run this as a business. The only way you're going to run this as a business is to be here in the city of Beacon. My opponent here is working in Poughkeepsie. You can't run the city of Beacon as a business living or working up 20 miles away. Going forward, I want to stay in Beacon as the mayor. I want to be a business person that's going to manage Beacon, and my opponent cannot do it. The mayor had 22 items that she had at the last council meeting that she attended. Now, working up in Kingston, or Poughkeepsie,
10 seconds, okay.
Working in Poughkeepsie, he cannot be down there to do what she's done, cutting ribbons and meeting dignitaries and doing things of that nature. Just can't do it. Can't be done.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, my worthy opponent confuses the role of the mayor. In the cities of Poughkeepsie, Newburgh, Peekskill, there are part-time mayors, as in Beacon, part-time. In fact, dear Claire Lou had earned only $6,000 a year as mayor during the terms that she's been in for 18 years. The mayor's position is a part-time job. However, I can be in Beacon whenever I want to be in Beacon, whenever I need to be in Beacon. I'll be there during the day, I'll be there at night, I'll be there in the evenings, I'll be there on weekends. I've been presiding on the city council, working on the city council, and we've seen since then the DIA come in, the Rivers and Estuary Center. I stopped overdevelopment by establishing 4 new parks that was over 175 acres. I started the Mount Beacon Incline Railway Restoration Society, and I'll see that through to the end because one of the things that people want in Beacon is the Incline Railway to come back. I've run the City of Beacon website. I designed it. We've had over 225,000 visitors to that site, and that was done to market Beacon. I've been chairman of the Beacon Democratic Committee. Look, what we need for Beacon is 3 things. We need to keep our taxes down. We need to control our spending. We have people on fixed income. We need to have a more professionally run city, and that would include more offices on Main Street. And the third thing that we need is to adopt the comprehensive plan because that will protect our environment, it will keep our taxes down, and it will revitalize Main Street. I've been endorsed by the Beacon Democratic Committee, by the Independence Party, by the Working Families Party, and by the Beacon First Party. And I'd like to be your next mayor. Thank you.
Steve Gold, Fred Anelak, thank you both for being here. Watch for this. We're going to see you next time. Vote in November. I'm Terrence Micus. Good night.